I'm gonna have limits to where I'm gonna go with my nudity, in other words, right? Like boundaries in general are hard to set for anybody because we can be afraid of confrontation or, you know, what is the other person gonna think? What are they gonna say?
Hey YouTube, this is Jeff Benyon and I'm here with my friend Renae. So Renae, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, so yeah, I am a marriage family therapist. I got into modeling actually as a way to sort of release some of the stuff that I carry from clients that I work with. I work in trauma, so it can be a lot of difficult emotions and things that, you know, as therapists we take with us, and modeling has been a way for me to sort of release a lot of those experiences of my clients, but also how they've affected my own life and maybe how they've even triggered things in my own life. So I've been able to regain parts of myself through this. So yeah, that's kind of why I'm here, and that's a little bit about me. I think the genre I'm going for is like body art, and so that's going to require nudity. I need to be comfortable in that. If I was going into that just like kind of throwing myself around and not really knowing what I'm getting into, that might be really confusing for me, and at the end I might be like, what did I want to do that, you know? So, but there are going to be people that are going to come towards you when you start to whatever you're doing with yourself, right?
Right.
And that's going to change the way people approach you, interact with you. So that means get your boundaries even clearer. Get ready to know what your limits are, because if you don't, you can get sucked into whatever. I think boundaries are something that every person needs to have, but it sounds maybe scary. Like, how would I even set a boundary? If I'm going somewhere looking to get something, right? How do I set a boundary around that to where the other person's gonna feel like it's a mutual experience? Right. Knowing your own like self enough to be like, no, like this is a weird situation. You know what your limits are and why you're doing it. I think for me, just kind of like going into any shoot, I have ideas of what I want to do creatively and just what I'm willing to do. And if I communicate that directly beforehand, then usually it goes a lot better because I can see what, you know, my photographer's ideas are too, and let them know, hey, I'm open to your ideas as well. But this is what I have, like, I want to do implied nudity, let's just say, but I'm not willing to like show my nipples everywhere all over my vagina. Like, you know? So personally, I would just like to maybe not do that. I'm more here, like that, you know, in those conversations, it's okay to be like, I'm sort of showcasing body art when I do this. I'm not looking for sexual relationships. I think number one, communicating it beforehand, knowing like what my creative goals are with what I'm doing for my release, whether it's trauma release, whether it's physical release, or just creative, or goals for magazines, or, you know, whatever. Communicating that, making sure my photographer's on board.
So like you go to a photo shoot and like your goal is like, I'm going to like make art today, like I'm going to, you know, like you said, body art, like I'm gonna use my body as a medium to create art, and like that's your goal. And then a photographer might be like, my goal is I'm gonna see some nakedness today, like, and so there's like this differing of the goals, right? And so when you're on the same page, then you can kind of like move around together. But when the photographer's here and you're here and like the goals aren't lined up, it's difficult to get that synergy and get the images.
And that's where I think you definitely need to look at who you're shooting with, right? And like, know who are they friends with in the photography world, like what have they shot, like look them up, and like even do a meeting with them before you maybe even take photos, like if there's somebody who's really big time, because like, you know, I've driven really far to meet with people, and turned out I thought I, you know, was gonna shoot and did not shoot. So you know, like, and that was because the vibe I got, it was like I interviewed them. It was like, I Instagram messaged people and I talked to them on there, and I wanted to get their vibe, just how they communicate with me. You know, are they attentive? What are they asking? Are they seeming overly attentive? You know, like just looking for different kind of red flags, right? Just sifting through their personality online. I'm gonna be myself and tell them what I'm looking for, and be polite and be professional. And if that's not what I'm getting back, if they're not mirroring that with me, then yeah, there's an issue. Or if I don't hear from them, or they say like, you know, if I don't seem like I'm even worth their time, I might not want to make them worth my time. Like I have plenty of people that I could go look at too, you know? So just remember that you are worth something. Your time's worth something as well. And those images they're going to use for something too, probably, right?
Yeah.
So it's good to just, I think, vet it from afar, then move in slow. Approach with caution, set your boundaries. I don't have to do anything, and that's where boundaries are so freaking rad.
Yeah.
Because I could get somewhere and I could have spent $500 going to pay some photographer, and then I get there and I was like, oh, I do body art, and let's just say now I'm like getting into like some weird thing I never wanted to do, and I'm like feeling uncomfortable. Like I can just be like, hey, keep the money, dude. It's just money. You can't get your like life back, your your mindset back.
So why don't you let everyone know where they can find you online?
So I'm on Renae Ryan on Instagram, or renaeryan.com, and that's RenaeRyann.
And we'll put the links down below.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you very much.